Welcome everybody to the Watch List, your post-Christmas edition of the Watch List, your virtual TV guide where we review, discuss all the shows and movies released on streaming over the past week, and we'll set you up at the end of the show for what's coming out as always next week, so you can set up your very own watch list. We want to wish everybody out there, I hope they had a good holidays. We're actually taping this the day after Christmas, so I hope everybody got what they wanted for Christmas. Some surprises, no Chewy, he probably got some underwear and all that good stuff, so good for you. Of course, our co-host of the watch list, ambassador of love himself, Senor Jaime Chewy. Merry Christmas, or maybe after Christmas.
Merry post-Christmas and New Year's Eve.
For those who are interested, 364 more days till next year's Christmas. So let the countdown begin. We do have New Year's coming up, so with that quick announcement, we're not going to do a show next week, so we'll come back in a couple weeks fresh after New Year's, after we recover, etc. So that being said, Chewy, and how was your Christmas, by the way?
Went by kind of quick this year.
Yeah, it's a whole Christmas on Saturday. It really sucks, man. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You don't get any time off from work.
It felt weird. And like, it's a Saturday, and like, what do I do the rest of my day? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're not working anyway, so what's the difference, right? It's a weekday, you get a day off from work, an extra day off from work, so it's odd, but what it is. New Year's is good. Well, New Year's is a little bit different, but it is what it is. But that being said, so Chewy's not gonna be a whole lot to talk about. So let's get started. But I do want to circle back on one show that we talked about last week. At least we saw the first few episodes. And that
we talking about burning the Butcher Burn?
We are burning the Witcher. For those who have seen the show yet, you know what we're talking
burn,
about.
Butcher Burn.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, you're still tossing your coins. But so the Witcher, real quick, I don't spend too much time on this, but we both finished it. And dude, man, this was even way better than last season, I thought, overall. And I like last season a lot, but for me, it was just... Go ahead.
For me, we're splitting hairs. I mean, it's still The Witcher, but I mean, obviously, this year was very straightforward. A to B narrative, right? No flashbacks, no multiple timelines. Still focusing on our main characters, obviously, Geralt, Rivia,
of course,
Ciri, and Yennefer. And a little bit of Barbara here and there.
Yeah.
But, I love both seasons. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're just told in different perspective. I appreciate, we get a lot of traditional, linear, sequential storytelling. And when they do something different, I enjoy it because it's doing something from everyone else. But, it was still very good. Very good.
Yeah, I like the straight narrative this season, just because I thought it was a little more focused. I mean, last season a lot of world building and the timelines converging and all. This one, everything seemed to tie into the same major storyline for the most part, right? And I enjoyed it. There's a lot of action. Especially the last few episodes, it gets pretty graphic, which I love. Some really cool fight scenes in there. A lot of toma moments. People's heads getting chopped off, and all that. Great, awesome.
Heads, burn faces off. I mean, you name it, we had it.
Yeah, it's that, which is great. I love that. So because again, this is a lot more adult version of, as opposed to like Wheel of Time, we keep talking about that. I think those shows are in the same vein. I know that they're different, but as far as fantasy world and all that, this was a little more in your face, graphic, and I enjoy that a little bit more than Wheel of Time offers. But yeah, look, really good, man. If you guys haven't watched this one, dude, there's not a whole lot coming out next couple of weeks, so yeah, this is a must watch for me. I think Chewy, you're on board.
And I downloaded both the songs. So last season we had Toss a Coin to Witcher, which is a great song. We love it. This year we had Burn, Butcher, Burn, which is great, man. I found it. The soundtrack is out. And there was also another one when he's in the jail cell. It's a quick 2-minute song.
Yeah.
But it's something Prison Blues, and I was like, fuck you, and all this. I was like, oh, great, I found both of those and stuff. I'm waiting for the
really cool.
The metal version of these songs to come out, or alternate versions to come out from other artists and stuff. So
very cool. Yeah, and like I said, it's such a good show. I just want to circle back, because we have to circle back on shows that we start with, but we want to talk about the ending as well, because it ended really well. And it's I don't know.
Yeah, and it definitely sets up for obviously season 3 and beyond. So this is mirroring the books, aka the video games.
Yeah.
As far as now, where the villain that they tease this season is called the Hunt, I believe. Yeah. So definitely a lot. Now everyone is not going to be after Siri now. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone knows
yeah,
about her,
all
her
hands on deck.
power. Yes, yes. So the North, the South, the mages, the demons, they all want a piece of her now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a crazy season, and I don't know how many they're gonna do. My guess would be five at most, but whatever.
Well,
Um,
I've heard Cavill say he's committed to the whole thing, right? However many seasons that
no,
is. I
right,
know
right, yeah, I agree. It just
I think there
depends.
was talk about 7 seasons at some
Okay.
point. I'm not sure if that was serious discussions or that was just their idea at the beginning. But I think five minimum is. I think for sure they're committed.
Five's a sweet spot. Anything more than that, things could get stale, depending on the storylines. We'll let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's at least get. Well, we know we're getting season 3. So yeah, looking forward to it. Very cool show. You guys should definitely check it out. But as far as this week's releases, we got a couple of films and a new show on Netflix. So as always, let's start with the movies. And we got the Matrix Resurrection same day release in theaters and HBO Max. Yeah, bullet time and all that. This is one where I was looking forward to. I'm a fan of the Matrix. I really am. I think a lot of people are a fan of the Matrix, particularly the original, groundbreaking film, et cetera, et cetera. We talked about that to death in the past. So I mean, I was curious, and listen, I ended up seeing it. I saw it twice. I ended up seeing it again yesterday. My girlfriend hadn't seen it yet. I got an early screening beginning of the week, and it was good. I actually enjoyed it. I know it has its detractors, and I get it. Overall, I think it's like a 67% Rotten Tomatoes for whatever that's worth. So the majority of critics have enjoyed it. I liked it. It's not great. This isn't the greatest thing since the watch list or anything like that. But it's a good, solid
It's
film,
not the greatest
entertaining.
thing since the first Matrix.
There you go. Oh, and it's funny because
And if you've seen the movie, you get the joke.
yeah, exactly what you've seen exactly. It's funny because at worst I thought we were gonna see some really cool action. Right? Just say what you will. Actually, the Matrix original is does not say loved everybody, but it's mostly liked. Right? Great action, innovative. Set the standards. It's a landmark film. And say what you will about the sequels, right? But the action was always great, right? The presentation, the way it's shot, the action pieces, whether the chateau fight, which is fantastic, the highway fight, the gunfight in Club Hell, the last battle on that, all that came out great, despite what you thought about the story. I thought we're gonna get, if nothing else, get some really cool action. It's been 15, 18 years since the last one. I figured technology has advanced. Really looking forward to what they could bring or at least one of the Wachowskis, Lana, could bring to the table. And I thought the story was going to be a mess. And it was actually the opposite. The action let me down. But the story was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Overall, I like what they did with it. I like the world building setup, the advancements made between, the computer world and, and humans. That relationship, the dynamic that developed after that was really cool. What happened? It's been 60 years since the events of Revolutions. That was really set up. When they brought the whole thing back, I was worried what they're gonna do in this whole reboot or whatever. It made sense. Yeah, it made a lot of sense and how they brought up. It was kind of fresh. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a little too meta at times to a certain point. Particularly this one scene with the Merovingian who they brought back. I didn't like his character. But overall, I had a good time with it, man. I thought it was good. What do you think, Chewy?
No, I think this one had more substance.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what the second and third were lacking in storytelling aspect, and so they had to tone down the action to provide for that, putting up more meat on the bone rather than just a flash
Sure.
and going for that visual effect. But the action scenes were still pretty cool.
Yeah, they weren't
So
terrible.
we had
They
we
weren't
had
terrible.
we had the first one, which was kind of recreating the original opening to Matrix, like with Trinity, and you see it's the same, but it's not, and it's different, and they're making some changes because the people who are visually seeing it have a memory of these events, right? There's history of that, and they look at it as it's like this is not how it happened. This is not what happened. But and that action sequence was pretty cool. We get the introduction to Bugs and the fighting with the agents and obviously the awakening of Morpheus
Mm-hmm.
was pretty cool. And the scene in the fighting scene in the train was very cool, right? So we had, obviously close quarters action, shooting, fighting, moving, getting people around. So it's pretty cool. Again, nothing like the original
Right.
highway chase scene, which was basically that was the centerpiece of number two, right? I mean,
Right.
they spent weeks on just that the movements and the cars and all this stuff and everything going on and the twins and whatnot. So that was very cool, right? But overall, I mean, it wasn't bad action. Okay, so no, it's hard to live up to what you've done before, right?
Of course,
How do you make it better? How do you make it new? I mean, you get to a certain apex with like there's only so much you can do, right? Unless you just completely rewrite what you're trying to do. I think this was trying to stay true to its story, right? Which was the advancing of 60 years past. At its root, it's a love story, right? I mean,
of course,
so it's
right.
not. I mean, it's a love story with some action built around it. A lot of meta moments, a lot of talking, but it's all relative to what this movie is trying to say, right? I mean, yes, the point you're trying to make, we're in the age where everybody's rebooting everything and their second cousin, right? There seems to be a lack of originality, and
Correct, right,
there's
yeah.
a montage moment where they kind of beat that point where they keep repeating the same thing. There's one guy talking about what you think of makes you think of bullet time, and next thing bullet time, and so they repeat it. That's how it is. That's how the creative process is, but right at poking fun directly at Warner Brothers because they want to repeat rebooting this stuff, right? So it's funny, but it's true. But the way they've advanced from when we remember this movie from the 90s, and now everyone's on their cell phone, right? And so everything's based on emotion. Emotions which driving us, not information, just how we react to what we see. And
Right.
there's one scene where Thomas Anderson, aka News, in the elevator, and he's looking around. Everyone's like looking on their phone. Literally, they're in a little, a little 5x5 space, cramped, and everyone's on their phone. And he's looking up, and with the montage going on, so it's kind of emphasizing that point that everything we do now versus what was the apex of his time, when they created the Matrix was everything's just based on our physical reactions and stuff. And that's one of the great characters that I like was oh god, what's his name? And Neil Patrick Harris's character who ends up being the villain.
Right.
Right.
She's like the new architect, if you will, whatever you call him. Yeah.
Yes. Where he's kind of now it's related to how it is now, right? And how we view it now. Again, this is in the future, but as we advance, this is how we react, and this is how they can control us. And that's the point. It's the illusion of control.
Right, exactly.
Illusion of choice.
Yeah, and that's kind of central theme in all of them, but they hammered it home more in this film than the last sequels, right? Easily. Like I said, that was cool. I like that. With the act, again, the action was fine. Not saying the action was terrible. It was fine. The third act was cool. It was just, again, when you've seen The Matrix, those scenes just pop out, right? When the first one and when they walk in, try to save Morpheus. I mean, it's so good. And the bullet time, of course, amazing. And Chateau, all that stuff is so well. And I thought they had good ideas. I just don't think, and maybe this is the other Wachowski brother who wasn't involved. Maybe that was his thing, right? He was the action guy because that's lacking.
What was the story? What was the action?
Yeah, apparently, I guess because and I give a good example. Like in the beginning, just the beginning is a scene where they kind of go through those doors in the hallway and they enter like another room and they kind of spin into whatever.
Oh yeah, they go upside. Yeah, they're upside down.
That was great idea.
Unique. That was cool.
That was unique, but they didn't flesh it. They could have gone to different locations and fleshed. That was really quick. How they go from one door to another one, they're in a different location to a different location. That could have been a really cool scene. Even the train scene, as good as it was, could have been a lot better. And in particular, scene with the Merovingian and they had the exiles, right, where they met up. The exiles in the last one, they did some cool shit, like the twins. Right? They turned invisible. That was awesome. Here, they're just regular guys. They didn't do anything special, right? These were the exiles supposed to be. And they could that scene could have been so much better and cooler.
But think about it this way: you got to remember that. And they maybe they could have brought it because obviously, the way it's explained in the movie, all that was purged from the Matrix, right? They rebuilt it, and now a lot of these programs were essentially deleted, right, or supposedly. Right. So what they could have done maybe is brought in what they could do originally, right? Because obviously, since no one's writing code and they want to advance, they want part of the Matrix. They had to be how they were when we first viewed them at that time.
Right? And if
at the time, not advancing to now they have extra powers. No, because now they're not part of the program.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, how they were back then, right? Whether they talked about ghost vampires in the second one, stuff like that.
They
had other abilities.
In the third one, the second one, they were when you hear about vampires or monsters and stuff.
Right.
Those were glitches in the Matrix that were supposed to be deleted, and whenever just hung around or found a way to survive. Within the program.
Exactly, and I thought that they could have had more to that. It was cool, like they had like the sworn thing was a cool idea, and the bombing the third act that was cool. That's good stuff. It just again, it's if this movie had action to that level, this could have been a very good movie, right? As opposed to being just a good movie. It was fine. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. So what to watch? Mm-hmm. Definitely, if you're a Matrix fan, definitely catch it if you haven't seen it already. It's enjoyable. Like I said, it has its detractors and what doesn't. It's not a perfect film, of course. A little bit long. Could have cut down these 20 minutes. But all that being said, I enjoyed it. Listen, to do another one, okay. why not? I love the Matrix. I love this world, and I know there's a great, awesome sequel to be made with this one. We haven't gotten to that as far as a great sequel. This was good, solid, good entry. The next one here, and this is another film on Netflix. Dropped a star-studded film here. We got Don't Look Up. Not exactly a classic film, but okay. With a great cast, man. DiCaprio. Meryl Streep,
Jennifer
Meryl
Lawrence,
Lawrence, Jonah Hill.
Hill.
Yeah, cast.
Hey, it's got
Kate
Medea.
Blanchett.
What's the guy? Tyler
Tyler
Perry.
Perry. No, yeah. It's got like huge cast, great cast. And it's basically, got these two scientists played by Lawrence and DiCaprio. And they discover a comet. And the comet's heading towards Earth. I think they timed it at 6 months before it hits. And it's going to be a global killer. We've seen this kind of thing before. So they try to warn, the world. And they try to warn across the presidency and all that. No one seems to care or pay attention about the warning. They don't take it seriously. So they keep trying to tell people, hey, we're doomed here. We got to take care of business. So it's supposed to be a comedy. Adam McKay directed it, who I like. And yeah, this one, it's just kind of disappointing, man. I don't know if you saw this or not.
No, I read too many bad reviews. Like, I'm passing.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's just bizarre. I mean, I'll give you an example. They go to the White House, and Meryl Streep's president, and Jonah Hill's like the advisor, Secretary of State or whatever. And they tell her, hey, this coming, and they're like, oh yeah, that's nice, but what if we do this and we don't, and what if, and then they start focusing on other stuff because her campaign's coming. I was like, they just completely ignore what's happening, and their scientists are agreeing, and they're like, yeah, but whatever. And they go to a new show wants to keep things happy, and I get what he's trying to say, right? About getting almost like the Matrix, people's emotions and how they get caught up, and a lot of political satire in there. But it just doesn't work. It doesn't work when the world's about to die, and people are so stupid they just don't buy into it. It just didn't make sense. It doesn't work. It's not a terrible movie, but yeah, and it's not even that funny. It's like some funny moments here and there, but ultimately, it's kind of a dud, man. I get why they were using like where they're at now. I think there was like right around 50%, more or less, whatever that's worth, around Tomatoes. I get it. It's just not. Yeah, and it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's just a lot of nonsense. I just didn't enjoy it. It's kind of a shame because you have a cast like this. Come on, bro. I mean, just bring it. And it just does not work. Disappointing because I like McKay. We talked about the movies he's done in the past, particularly Chicago 7, which is really good. But that being said, yeah, just that's a skip. That's a no watch. A little post Christmas bonus for you guys. The last one here that came out on Netflix, and that's The Silent Sea. That's dropped a couple of days ago. It's a sci-fi thriller Korean show, which they've been hitting the mark a lot in the last few months. And looking forward to it. The trailer didn't give a whole lot, but essentially it's it takes place in the future. Chewy, did you watch this, by the way, or have we started watching it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched 2 episodes.
Okay.
So yeah, this one takes place in the future. Basically, the Earth is running out of resources. Right?
The water dried up. The water has dried up or whatever.
Yeah. Global warming, whatever, but water is an issue. There's a lunar base that we don't know what's going on, but something was going on at the base, research, secret military stuff, who knows, right? Mm-hmm. And for some reason, they've lost communication. They task a group of scientists, military personnel, researchers to go back and retrieve a container of something. But they're not told what, who, what, when, why, where. Just, get in the ship, go there, get it, bring it back. But there is one of the scientists that has a little bit more information, and as we progress through the episode, we start getting the flashbacks of conversations and calculations and analysis she's been doing before the whole trip began. But obviously, once they get there, something is rotten.
Yeah, well, the shuttle crashes when they get there, so they're doomed from the start. They crash land.
It's a bad start already.
Yeah,
one of the senior advisors, designers of this, it broke his wrist and doesn't make it. So spoiler alert.
Right.
So you start picking off individuals. So this is always on a bad start. They get to the base, and obviously they finally discover that everyone is dead. Right. They find another American astronaut or mercenary astronaut there. Then they eventually find the rest of one of their basically all they look like they're trying to escape or isolate and whatever. They're all dead. So
right. And
we don't know what's going on, but it's not good.
It's not good. And they believe that they died by drowning, which is odd because
in space,
right?
Yes.
In the moon, and there's no indication of water in the base, rather than just the running water. I'm sure it has. So it's a big mystery behind what happened to the base. There's stuff that I don't know how far you're into, Chewy. I think I've seen 5.
Okay.
The stuff that they start.
I would have gone too.
Okay, they start discovering. Oh, this is what's going on, and they're not alone in the base either. To discover something and all that. I think Chewie, you may have seen a reference to that maybe in the second episode. I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, the second episode. Well, when they do the overlay, the map of the facilities, obviously several locations that are classified, and so they're restricted, so they don't have access or maps to it. So there's something that they don't know what's going on. Yeah, but in the second episode, one of the guys drops his flashlight.
Okay, so
right, the typical, I guess, tropian, I guess in a horror movie, someone drops something, they gotta go get it.
Of course.
They build up the tension, and the light comes off and turns off again. You're like, oh, here it comes. You know something's gonna happen, right? And then he reaches it, and all of a sudden it's snapped away, and he's like, whoa, what's going on? But he still goes back again and retrieves out of the containers.
right, that's his mission. But yeah, so there's obviously more, and they start discovering what's going on. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this, man. It's first, the production's really great, right? Mm-hmm. Particularly it's a sci-fi show in the moon. It's gotta look good, right? So they didn't skimp on the budget. It looks great. Really cool moments of tension. That crash landing scene was very cool. What happens when they land and about their ship is great scenes. A lot of cool scenes, a lot of good tension, good mystery, some good sci-fi. Once you start discovering what's in the containers, fascinating as far as like, oh, cool. And you start kind of putting pieces together as to what they were doing there in the first place and how it relates to, where the Earth is at now currently, right? Very cool. I'm really enjoying this show, man. This is definitely very good filler. I can see how it ends. I think it's 8 episodes. So I'm not sure the limited series or not. I think it's a regular series. I'm hoping it was limited.
It is 8 episodes as far as
Okay, yeah. So I'm not sure if it's more in one season. Well, the plan is for more seasons or not. But it's good, man. I'm enjoying it, dude. True, your thoughts on as far as the quality of the show?
No, it's like, so far so good. I'm watching it dubbed because I'm just tired of reading subtitles. Because every time I watch these shows subtitled, I miss so much of the visuals, right?
Gotcha.
And so I've said, you know what, I'm just gonna dub it. I don't care if it doesn't match up. I want to see and not read.
Because it looks nice.
Right?
The show looks really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
really
I want to spend my time looking at the clues and looking at the set.
Sure.
And not reading dialogue and text and trying to catch up because I miss a lot.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even dubbed is still pretty good and pretty. The tense moments are there and the scary moments are. It's building that horror elements, right? Because it has a horror element feel.
It does, and it's not a horror show at all. Yeah.
And but everyone's like dead and like, what is going on, right?
Right.
Is someone there? Okay, who is that?
What happened to the team, that the people over there? What's going on? The government's hiding something. It's a trope that we're gonna see in this, and we do. I get it. But yeah, just the mystery behind it, and we start discovering that's really cool, and what they find and who they find. All that is really working out pretty well, man. I've been enjoying what they're doing with the show here, man. It's actually, I haven't seen a Korean side. Usually with Korean shows, either like dramas or like, kind of more like in a horror genre, right?
Strength of a song.
Right, or sci-fi, things like that. Not sci-fi, a mystery, thrillers, fantasy, rather, I want to say. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is a sci-fi show. The sci-fi is very interesting. We're still diving into. You haven't gotten there quite yet, Chewie. You're almost there. But that's a little horror element, and the action is really good. The tension is really good in the show. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the base that they have to overcome. They do a good job peppering that in to keep the pace going, and they don't spend a whole lot of time with the characters, which is good and bad. But they do kind of flashback and give you more of a couple of the key characters. The captain there's a reason why he's there, and they kind of go into that real quick. But they spend a few minutes, and they just give you exactly what you need to know. So they don't spend 20 minutes. Too much backstory, which I like, and it keeps the show going. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a really good watch. It's really good, very well done, very produced. This looks like it belongs in Apple Plus in terms of quality as far as it looks. Apple Plus is probably the best in terms of just visual. Not all the shows are great. Invasion, but it's a lot better than Invasion. But yeah, it's really well done. Yeah, I definitely recommend this one for sure.
Coming back for season 2.
Oh God. Invasion? Question mark? It's season 2. Invasion sucks. By the way, this is a way better show than that right now. But yeah, definitely recommend you guys should definitely check it out. Against a light week next week, and usually the beginning of the year is kind of light for the most part. A couple of big things dropping, which we'll get to in about 2 minutes. But yeah, for the most part, it is a show I think you guys should definitely catch. Good Korean show here, definitely. But that being said, Chewie, let's talk about next week, because we're not doing a show next week, so we probably won't be talking about this next week. But these are shows which there's three things being released which are very fan base heavy. You guys are gonna watch it anyway, right? And the first one, Chewie, I know you're very excited as a huge Star Wars fan that you are. That is the Book of Boba Fett on the 29th
Book
on
of
Disney
Fett.
Plus. Following on the
Wednesday,
heels.
Wednesday.
Wednesday on the heels of course, Mandalorian. This was cool. I mean, yeah, this is, well, I'm not sure this is going to be good, but we're going to watch it.
I'm gonna watch. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good.
I'm sure
I
it's
mean,
going to be good. Yeah, I mean,
my whole issue with this is, and I think we talked about this way back when. They had the great success, deserved success, meant Mandalorian.
right.
And at the very next Disney conference, investors meeting, whatever, they threw spaghetti at the wall. I mean, how many titles did we see? The Ranger, Kenobi, this, that. So they were like
Acolytes, I think, yeah.
they were trying to leverage everything that all the goodwill that they built up Mandalorian, and they said, okay, here we go, get the pasta, get the bowl of pasta, and throw it out there.
Let's see what it comes out.
And little by, and all these Star Wars movies and all these things, and little by little, I knew this was coming. I saw it right in the wall. The spaghetti starts falling off the wall. Little by little, every little thing starts falling off the wall.
Yep.
Right? The movie, creative differences. Ranger, we gotta change it because we fired the edit, and all this stuff starts falling apart. And then like recently, this heard. I mean, I know it's going off topic, but now I hear that they're going to make a Chewie and Han Solo show. Oh, I'm like, what are they doing?
I'll say we know we got Boba Fett, we know we got Mandalorian, we know we got Obi-Wan. We know that's coming out, and it looks like Ahsoka too. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff on there.
It's filming in production. It's on its way.
No, yeah, it's on its way. That's that's not
movie wise. God knows at this point.
Well, whatever. Yeah, I think the focus on TV and whatever. We'll be watching it. I know the fans are gonna watch it. Obviously, I hope this is good. Boba Fett's one of those characters that everybody loves for whatever reason. They didn't do anything, but he's great anyway. I love him too. But yes, I'm looking forward to see what they do with this.
But what I'm looking forward to is this is advancing his story. Right, we're not getting a prequel to Boba Fett. We've seen that. We saw the Clone Wars.
Sure.
Right, so now we know that they found him. He's alive in Mandalorian. Granted, this is still way beyond Force Awakens, but as far as I'm concerned, Force Awakens doesn't exist anymore. I have to put that out of my mind. All those 3 movies are out of my mind, and let's just take it fresh. Will it happen? I don't know, but at least we're getting a fresh
story about right stuff we don't know about. Right, so I agree.
There's no history. There's no. It's not the Emperor who's been hiding for 30 years and the battle, God knows what. None of that nonsense. Let's get a good story.
We got a good.
See what we want to do.
Yeah, like I said, advance it. So, fingers crossed. I'm big time looking forward to it. Another one I'm really looking forward to. We've been big fans of the show, and I jumped on late when it came from YouTube onto Netflix. Of course, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, great way to bring in the new year, and that's with Cobra Kai season 4. No mercy, the cheesiest, ridiculous show, which I love so much. It is what it is, and nostalgia porn.
But it's a different level of nostalgia porn because we both watched Saved by the Bell, right? We make no qualms about it. We know it's not It's not the most laughed out loud or funniest, but it's something about that. It's nostalgia and it's silly and it's meta and it doesn't take itself serious. It knows what it is and it's not trying to say, it's the greatest comedy ever. It's that's funny and it's got its moments and it relies on its past history to relay that comedy. But this is a different level of nostalgia porn because this one was actually built around trying to develop the story of these characters, right? And not just relying that, I remember the original movie with Mr. Miyagi and the Waksa deal.
It has those moments, obviously, but it's about advancing where these characters are now, where they are now, right? Mm-hmm. Based off the events that happened, 25 years, whenever those movies came out.
30 years ago, whatever.
Right, and these characters are progressing, they have kids of their own, and whether that's cool, right? Yeah, you're right. It doesn't just rely, then I just rinse and repeat here. I'm going to fight this guy again.
I mean, they're bringing in old characters, but it's advancing the story.
Right. It's not fan service per se. Almost like in Spider-Man, right? Where they brought, whatever, spoiler warning. You're warned. Brought everybody back, or the Spider, but they didn't just show up and say, "Hey, I'm here. Let's do it." They were integral part of the story.
Actually, we can talk about it later, but I actually love that movie, man.
It was great. Spider-Man's great. Go Dude, do yourself a favor,
Go
go watch
watch.
it. It's really good. But the fan service there just wasn't a quick cameo. I thought I knew we were gonna get the Garfield and Tobey Maguire for over a year and a half. I've known this,
Yes.
not a secret.
But I thought it was just gonna be a cameo or
Oh,
something.
they're gonna show up.
Short
I thought they're gonna show up in the
where
third act
bring
only,
in-
just when like he's
Yeah.
down and we're here to save you and cool. It would have been a great moment. Yeah, but they actually built him into the story, into the emotional way behind the film. Is a large part because of having the prior two Spider-Mans in it.
Yes.
So again, Cobra Kai is almost the same way. They introduce these characters, and they build off that, right? It's part of the story, and so really cool show. I mean, I enjoyed it. Last 22-minute episode kind of thing. So it's a really quick watch. Again, there's time this weekend. Nothing's going on New Year's Day, and if you're not a big college football fan, Cobra Kai is the way to go. I can't wait to see this show, man. I'm excited about this one. The last one.
I'm excited. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, big fan.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Easily, I want to go through this pretty quick. It's my girlfriend.
And
loves
it's
the show,
funny.
so.
It's funny. It's serious, but it's funny also. It's
No, it's not. I found a great funny moments. Johnny, who goes the blonde guy, he's such a great character. He's fantastic.
He's still stuck in the 90s, 80s.
Yeah, he's great. He's like a time capsule. The last one here. This comes out on HBO Max on New Year's Day. Something for you to watch. And I know I could care less because not that I didn't like them, just not for me. That's all it is. Not that they're terrible, but the Harry Potter reunion special on HBO Max, not my thing. I guess as fans, I know Chewie's a huge fan. I know you'll be all over this like crazy.
I'm a Potterhead, dude.
Yeah, obviously all the Potters be watching it. So if you hadn't even known about it, definitely, I'm sure you're gonna want to watch this. And but it's funny because HBO does a good job of kind of relying on that nostalgia for a bit. They just released the Sex and the City show, going back, and that's a huge success for them. I think it's it got the most subscriptions, I believe, something like that. So it makes sense. They did the Friends reunion, which is a huge success for them as well, because Friends is a very popular show.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was good. I watched it. So I like Friends. I didn't love it, but it was cool. And I saw the special. It was cool. It was fun. So I assume this is going to be a walk down nostalgia lane for the Potterheads, and then much like in the vein what Friends was, very cool and all that. So yeah, I'm sure you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of that. So yeah, that comes out in the first. So three big things. Three properties.
A 1 day, 1 hour, couple hour special. I don't know. It's 20-year anniversary, right? It's
right. It's 20 years.
It's 20 years or just a little bit over 20 years now since the original, the first Harry Potter. And so obviously they're little kids, now everyone's grown up and everyone's got different careers, different paths that they've taken. Obviously, there was a slew of actors that have partaken in the Helena Buffett Carter.
It's a fun kind of like
different movies.
Where are you now?
Gary Oldman.
Look back down memory lane.
Gary Oldman's been everything.
From
professional to I mean
behind the story. I'm
so
sure behind the scenes
there's
stories.
some heavyweights involved in these stories, right?
Of course.
And actually, I think actually one of the Dumbledores is actually Jared Harris's father, which I didn't realize that till now. I was like, oh shit, Jared Harris. Like, oh, okay.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and obviously there's news because the next movie's coming out next year. They got the trailer for it earlier this month, so I mean I'm excited and
Harry Potter's a huge property. I get it. Like it's not that we're Star Wars, but it's in the vein of Star Wars and the huge, I guess the success, the brand's there. We all know it. So good for you guys. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I may even just watch it just for the sake of watching it. Whatever. You always learn some cool stuff, some cool behind the story scenes, stories and stuff behind the camera, the things that happen. Whatever. I'll catch it. Whatever. I'm sure they'll do like a little Alan Rickman, tribute or something in there.
Oh yeah. Some of them that passed away.
Right, exactly. A couple of them. So I'm sure they'll talk about that. So they even did a Fresh Prince one, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, I forgot about HBO did that.
Yeah, when they launched HBO Max, that was. I never watched it, but I heard
it's actually pretty good. Yeah, and it had a really good Uncle Phil,
in memoriam
kind of thing, and then they talked about it. It's really cool, really emotional. It worked really well. So, but again, HBO's done good with this stuff, so I assume this is going to be great. So, congrats, Harry Potter fans. You're gonna love it. Fantastic, So yeah, so three big properties. Well, Cobra Kai's not a big property, but either way, it's got a good following though, nonetheless. So there we are. So again, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Again, we'll set up. I should have set up what's coming out in 2 weeks, but too late now. But that being said, so we'll see what shows come out 2 weeks after that. Nonetheless, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe as always, share, like, comment, and we'll see you guys after the next year, 2022. Happy New Year to everybody. Talk to you later.
Peace out.